You open the VA decision letter, see the word denied, and your stomach drops. Before you close the envelope or decide the entire claim is over, look again. That word may describe one issue in a packet that also contains a grant, a deferral, or a favorable finding that matters. My take is simple. Do not read a decision letter as one verdict. Read it issue by issue as a roadmap. Welcome to the Veteran Benefits Reset Podcast, where we help veterans and their families better understand the VA disability benefits process, one step at a time. I'm your host, Cameron Burrell, a U.S. Army veteran and founder of VetBiz Media. Today, we are turning a document that can feel like a wall of unfamiliar language into a practical review process. We will identify every issue, find favorable findings, follow the evidence trail, and check dates and next steps. Then, we will build a question sheet you can take to a VA-accredited veteran service organization, claims agent, or attorney. This is general educational information. It is not individualized legal advice, medical advice, claim preparation, or prediction about your outcome. Procedures, forms, and deadlines can change, so verify current information through official VA resources. If you need guidance about your own situation, speak with an appropriately accredited professional. And before you begin, preserve the complete decision packet. Save the electronic file or make a copy. Keep every attachment and put the documents in one folder. You do not have to solve the whole letter tonight. Here is the first move. Start with the issues. All of them. Not just the condition you expected to win, and not just the percentage printed in large type. Copy each issue exactly as the letter describes it. Then, beside each one, write one short outcome. Granted, denied, deferred, or another description you need to understand. What if the first page says denied? Denied for which issue? That is the question. A single packet can grant tinnitus, deny a back condition, and defer a shoulder condition. Those are three different situations, and they should not be blended into one emotional conclusion. A grant generally means an award was recognized for that issue, but you still read the evaluation and effective date. A denial means the requested benefit was not awarded for that issue in that decision. A deferral is different from both. The issue remains unresolved while the VA completes or considers additional development. A deferral is not a denial, and it is not a guarantee of a future grant. This inventory is more important than it may sound. You cannot analyze the reasoning until you know which issues received a final decision and which ones did not. So take a breath, open a blank page, and make a row for every issue. Veteran to veteran, this is the part where I recommend putting the highlighter down for a minute. First, find out what the document actually says. Then decide what deserves a closer look. Now look for favorable findings. The wording and location can vary, so do not depend on a remembered template. A favorable finding may show that the VA accepted a fact, such as a current diagnosis, an in-service event, an injury, an exposure, or another part of the evidence. That can be important because it tells you where the decision recognizes something as established. But favorable does not automatically mean complete. A letter may acknowledge a diagnosis while still discussing whether the condition is connected to service. It may acknowledge an event during service while saying the connection to a current condition was not established. An issue may be granted while the evaluation or effective date still needs careful review. Think of a favorable finding as solid ground on part of the map. It matters, but it may not answer every question about service connection, evaluation, effective date, or another issue. Next, follow the evidence trail. Do not read the reasons section only to find a sentence you disagree with. Read it to learn what evidence the decision says it considered. Was there a service treatment record, a personnel record, a VA examination, a private medical record, a medical opinion, a statement from you, a family member, or someone who served with you? Make notes as you go. Then translate each explanation into a question. If the letter says there was no current diagnosis, write, what medical evidence is the decision referring to? If it says the condition was not connected to service, Which part of that connection did the decision say was not established? If it discusses a gap in treatment, ask how that point was used and whether other evidence of symptoms was discussed. If it mentions an examination or opinion, record the date, the conclusion, and the reasoning described in the letter.
Now, imagine the same fictional packet discusses a back condition and says the current diagnosis is acknowledged, but the decision does not find the required connection to service. That is not the same as saying every fact about the back condition was rejected. Your note should separate the favorable finding from the reason for the denial. This is the habit that prevents one sentence from swallowing the entire letter.
Pay attention to lay statements too. Your account, or a statement from someone who knows you, may be discussed in the letter. Do not assume that mentioning a statement means the decision agreed with it, and do not assume that silence proves it was ignored. Write down exactly how the letter describes that evidence. One of the most useful habits here is separating what the document says from what you believe it should have said. That separation gives you a better starting point for a conversation with an accredited professional.
After the evidence, move to dates. For an awarded issue, record the effective date and evaluation stated in the decision. Note the dates of examinations or opinions discussed. Then look for review instructions, forms, and time limits. A difference between dates is not automatically an error. Effective dates can depend on the facts and procedural history. The important point is not to guess. Verify the current rules and deadlines through official VA resources and ask an accredited VSO, claims agent, or attorney to explain how those instructions relate to your circumstances.
Do not overlook deferred issues. Find the language explaining what remains pending or what action the VA says it is taking. Also, check the attachments. If there is a form, notice, or term you do not recognize, put it on your question list. What if you are not sure whether an issue is final? Write that down too. A question is better than an assumption, especially when a deadline may matter.
Your question sheet does not need to be complicated. Create 7 headings: issue, outcome, favorable finding, reason, relevant date, evidence question, and representative question. Under the representative question, you might write, "Can you help me understand which review option the letter describes and what current deadline applies?" That asks for guidance. It does not assume the answer.
When you meet with a VSO, claims agent, or attorney, bring the complete packet and your notes. Bring questions, not just the feeling that something went wrong. The feeling matters, but the document gives the conversation a starting point. Ask the representative to explain unfamiliar terms, separate final issues from pending ones, and identify the dates that deserve attention. If your question is medical, speak with an appropriate medical professional. If it concerns legal strategy or individual rights, seek guidance from an appropriately accredited representative or attorney.
So let us return to the main idea. Do not let one percentage or one word like denied become your entire understanding of the decision. Read the letter as a roadmap. First, inventory every issue. Second, identify the outcome for each one. Third, find favorable findings and understand their limits. Fourth, follow the evidence trail. Finally, check dates, deferred items, review instructions, and current deadlines. Facts over frustration. Education before action. Before the next episode, take one small action. Open a blank page and write the 7 headings. Then copy one issue from your decision letter into the first row. You do not have to analyze the entire packet tonight. Just complete the inventory. One issue, one record, one mission. That small step can turn a confusing document into an organized conversation.
Thanks for listening to the Veteran Benefits Reset podcast. If this episode helped you understand your decision letter more clearly, follow the podcast, leave a review, and share it with another veteran, family member, or caregiver who could benefit. Download the free 7-step Veteran Benefits Reset Guide at vetbizmedia.com/veteran7. Remember to verify current information through official VA resources and consult an accredited professional when appropriate. Your service did not expire. Your story is still worth reviewing. Stay organized, stay informed, and take the next responsible step.